host, Andrew Romanella.
When you play Battle in Mario Kart and you don't turn off any of the items, there are bananas everywhere. I mean, it's like you're losing your balloons because you're slipping on bananas left and right. Bananas everywhere. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of The Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com, broadcasting live on YouTube and X. I am your host, Andrew Romanella. I got you for the next 30 or so, maybe 20, maybe 15, depends on how long it takes us. It's Monday. It is Cinco de Mayo. Happy Monday, people. Get in on the action. The social medias, The Rome Show 1, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok. You know the drill. The mothership is 12OZ Sports. You can get that anywhere you want to get it on social media. Definitely follow the YouTube and follow the X, because that is where you can comment live. We got a weekend recap show for the people. Our weekend recap will take you through the National Basketball Association, Major League Baseball, and the National Hockey League. If you're wondering why the board behind me says happy or sinkhole de Mayo. No happy there. Sinkhole de Mayo. Because in the northwestern area of New Jersey, which is where the Rome Show podcast / radio show on 12OZ Sports is housed and located, there is a massive sinkhole issue on Route 80 in our area, and it has caused a ridiculous amount of problems when driving to and from work, to and from regular activity, to and from anything literally in this area that requires you to go on 80 in that certain section. Up to 90 plus sinkholes have been found on Route 80 over the last 6 months in this area. So around here, we are calling this Sinkhole de Mayo, and you can thank my lovely fiance for writing that on our board to start this Monday morning, where we're going to get going in the National Hockey League, because last night there was a reckless Game 7 that happened between the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues. The Winnipeg Jets looked like they were dead to rights with about 2 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the third period, and then this happened to start their comeback trail. Bang, Domestikov. Jets down 3-2 with under 2 minutes remaining, and even more so, did the dagger look like they were put into the Winnipeg Jets' butts with under 10 seconds remaining, with under 5 seconds remaining, with under 2 seconds remaining. The Winnipeg Jets did this. Post, that high circle, get the puck to the net. The Winnipeg Jets tie the game at 3-3, and then I'm sure you fully expected to find out that they won that game 4-3, not in single overtime, but in double overtime. And the Winnipeg Jets, they move on, and the really Cinderella-esque run of the St. Louis Blues runs out. If you want to take a look at what's gone on the last few days in the National Hockey League, a lot has been determined since last Thursday when we were on air. First and foremost, the Toronto Maple Leafs did move on. That is correct. 4-2 Game 6 win for the Maple Leafs sends them past the Ottawa Senators, and that is huge for the fan base in Toronto. It's such a huge story. I mean, there's possibly no better fan base in the National Hockey League than the Toronto Maple Leafs, yet their franchise has not seen winning at the Stanley Cup level in a really long time. But they've been talented enough, more specifically the last 5 to 7 years. So the first step in their journey was defeating their Ontario counterparts, and that was completed. Now they have to defeat a two-time in the last 5 years Stanley Cup champion, or two-time in the Stanley Cup, Florida Panthers. So that is the next step for the Maple Leafs. For The Vegas Golden Knights, Rocky's prediction in the Stanley Cup Finals, they move on with a Game 6 victory, 3-2, where they defeated the Wild on the back of Mark Strome with 1 goal and 1 assist, and Hartman had 2 goals. Hill, 29 saves in this contest for the Golden Knights. Another Canadian team on Thursday that was looking to move on, that needs to move on, that wants, their fan base wants to not see this with their talent level anymore. That's the Edmonton Oilers. They defeat the Kings by a score of 6-4 in Game 6 as well. If you remember, last week, Rocky talked a lot about how in the National Hockey League, there were a lot of tie series after 4 games, and you saw the better team in all 3 of those series right there win Game 5 and Game 6. Then on Friday, the Blues kept themselves alive. That's why we had the Game 7 last night. And on Saturday, the Dallas Stars in a Game 7 defeated the Colorado Avalanche by a score of 4-2. So that is the last 3 to 4 days in the National Hockey League. So now you're looking at, moving forward, the Winnipeg Jets playing the Dallas Stars, the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Edmonton Oilers, the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Florida Panthers, and the Washington Capitals taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, the schedule starts tonight with an 8 p.m. puck drop between Toronto and Florida. Then there are 2 games tomorrow, Golden Knights, Oilers, Caps, and Hurricanes. And then they finish with a single Game 1 on, what's today? Monday? So Wednesday. And then you flip the series. So we are in round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Tomorrow is a Tuesday. So Rocky will join us to break down more of the National Hockey League. This is the Rome Show here. 12ozsports.com, broadcasting live on YouTube and X. Get on YouTube or X, and you can comment live on the show, and you can give us your thoughts and opinions. We are breaking down the last few days in professional sports, and we will do so more after this quick commercial break. Andrew Romanello, 12 Out Sports, back after this.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
It's the Rome Show. 12ouncesports.com, YouTube, X. We've been saying it all day. Follow us, comment, do your thing. If you missed any part of the show, get the Rome Show podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. We're moving on to the NBA. A lot of good stuff happening in the NBA over the last few days. Let's take a look at the schedule since we've been gone. Since you've been gone. All right, I'm not going to sing to you people. NBA, the Knicks, yes, that's right. They got the Game 6 win in Detroit over the Pistons, 116-113. The dude, Jalen Brunson, showed up when he needed to show up, and he hit a big step-back bucket for the Knickerbockers to win that contest in this game. Jalen Brunson had 40 points. He was 15 of 33 from the field. None bigger than his final bucket to win the game. The Knicks now have a date with the number 2 seeded Boston Celtics. Also, Denver, they got forced into a Game 7 and then won a Game 7 by 19 points. Nikola Jokic and the gang. And unfortunately, the playoff woes for James Harden continue. Kawhi Leonard has found himself a championship or 2. Okay, so for Kawhi, it's kind of like, okay, not that big of a deal anymore. He's probably just going to keep balling out the rest of his career, but he's got his championships. For James Harden, there is a history of being in game 7s and not being able to get the job done. Now, this is a team sport, but James Harden was 2 of 8 with 13 assists and 7 points. Why is it that it continually comes up that James Harden in the biggest games of his career ain't scoring the rock? Okay? Because when you click on this man's name and you look at his game log from this series, okay, you're going to see 32 points, 18 points, 20 points, 15 points, 11 points, 28 points, 7 points. Now, I don't understand, and I get it. Game shift, defensive shift, momentum shifts. But in 3 games, he took 17 or more shots, okay? In those 3 games, the Clippers were 2-1, all right? In 5 games, he took 10 or more shots, okay? In the 5 games where he took 10 or more shots, the Clippers were 3-1. In the 3-2, excuse me. So in both scenarios, they were winning the series. But when you look at when he's held under 15 points, they're 0-3. When he's held under 11 shots, they're 0-3. James Harden's got to shoot the rock. LA needed James Harden to show up. He didn't again. Stop me if you heard that story before. So again, we go into another offseason where we're questioning, A, can the Clippers ever get over this hump? If you remember the aforementioned Toronto Maple Leafs and Edmonton Oilers we were talking about, same type of scenario. Ever since the Blake Griffin, Chris Paul iteration of the Los Angeles Clippers happened, you've always believed the Clippers were good enough to win a championship. But ever since the start of the Clippers becoming a franchise that you respected in the NBA, they still have never been able to get over that hump of just getting to the championship round. Furthermore, getting just really out of the second round. And in this case, another year comes to a close. And I think it's a lot of disappointment for the Clippers fans who have seen talent on their roster for at least the last 10 to 12 years. Talent good enough to take your team to the championship. And again, another team that James Harden is on. Tough loss in a game 7, and he didn't show up. Finally, the Warriors, they pull off the 7-seeded defeats 2-seeded victory last night, holding the Rockets to 89 points. Winning 103-89. Buddy Hield. What a day for GSW. 33 points, 12 of 15 from the field, 9 of 11 from beyond the arc. How about them apples? Buddy Hield showing up. Curry had 22, 8 of 16 from the field. Jimmy Butler had 27 of 13 from the field. On the flip side, Eamon Thompson, 24 points. Brennan Senga, 21 points, and Van Fleet had 17. Houston just wasn't ready for that moment. They played over their shoes in the regular season. And now you look at the last few years in the NBA, lower seeds are really starting to win some series. I mean, look at the matchup. Minnesota beats Los Angeles, so a 6 seed beats a 3 seed, and Golden State defeats Houston, so a 7 seed beats a 2 seed. Historically, the National Basketball Association has been a league where you do not see upsets. That's why we talk about how much we love the National Hockey League on this show, okay? But now you're starting to see these upsets. And so here's the statistics on that. In the history of the National Basketball Association, the 6th seed in the NBA has won 9 total series ever. This was the 10th, okay? The Minnesota Timberwolves were the 10th 6th seed ever to win a series in the National Basketball Association. The last one was due it in 2021. It was the Portland Trailblazers led by Damian Lillard over the Denver Nuggets. How about this? The 7th seed, what the Golden State Warriors did yesterday. The Golden State Warriors are the 6th ever 7 seed to win a playoff series. The last one being the Los Angeles Lakers over the Grizzlies 2 years ago. And then it was 13 years before the first one before that. Okay. So, and then 8th seeds have only had 6 playoff series victories. So if my simple, pretty quick math is correct, that's 22 times in the history of the National Basketball Association that a 6, a 7, or an 8 seed, okay, has won a series. Now let's take that a step further real quick. We had 2 this year, right? Okay. And we had 2 in 2023. That's 4. All of that has started to happen with the play-in tournament. Like they've existed before. But think about the pseudo-minute regularity that's existing now with this. 2 in 2023, 1 in 2024, 2 in 2025. Like, oh, maybe this NBA play-in tournament was a really good idea. Maybe we got something here. Maybe long-term, the health of the league is in a way better spot because the play-in tournament, okay? Which is going to lead me to my last point in Major League Baseball, which we'll get to in a minute here after our final commercial break. Stay with us to finish the Rome Show here on 12OZ Sports.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12-Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12-Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Yeah, it's the Rome Show, Sinkhole de Mayo. Happy Sinkhole de Mayo. Hope the people are living. Andrew Romanella, we got like 2 minutes left in this thing. I want to talk Major League Baseball real quick to finish. You missed any part of the show, get the Rome Show podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, or just simply go to youtube.com/12OZ Sports. Follow the mothership, okay? And get all the 12ouncesports.com shows and or rewatch some of the Rome Show. I mentioned before the quick break that the NBA is doing something that Major League Baseball needs to figure out, and that's keep this sport interesting, okay? Because not only has there been a real decline in the popularity of Major League Baseball over the last 5 to 10 years, leading to pitch clocks and bigger bases, rules on how much you can pick off, trying to change the pace of the game. All of these different things have existed to try and increase the popularity of baseball. Well, what we were just talking about before the commercial break about the NBA play-in tournament is something that baseball needs to consider. Now, I'm not saying baseball needs a play-in tournament. What I'm saying is they need to do something that they could see over time developing into a staple that benefits the league. The play-in tournament was hated, probably still is, by a lot of fans. But you don't have the Golden State Warriors as the 7 seed if you don't have the NBA play-in tournament. And so right there, you have a beautiful opportunity to see why they did it. Oh, this makes a lot of sense now. Because think about it. The Golden State Warriors couldn't really figure it out. I think they finished as like the 9 seed, whatever, 8 seed. I don't know. They had to play a play-in game. They get that 7 seed. And now here they are cooking. It's like what we witnessed in football over the last 10 years. When the wild card was invented, now all of a sudden the teams that play on the first weekend sometimes are better than the one seeds that get the first week off because they keep playing football. And I think you now have a more entertaining NBA. You have a more entertaining NBA postseason. And the postseason in the NBA has always been entertaining. But for the most part, the sentiment would be, all right, we'll get through the first round and then we'll start to see some stuff. Or this team is so good and these teams aren't, that it's like, all right, let's just wait till we get the Cavs versus the Celtics in the final. Okay, we'll go with the San Antonio Spurs and the Los Angeles Lakers in the finals. Now it's like, this is literally anyone's game. I could see the Warriors beating the Wolves. I could see the Nuggets beating the Thunder. I could see the Knicks beating the Celtics and the Pacers beating the Cavs. And I can see all the flip of that as well. And that is what Major League Baseball needs. Because right now, you have teams that are atrocious in Major League Baseball. The Rockies have 6 wins. I mean, think about that. 6 wins. Their record is 6-28. Like, that's ridiculous. The Pirates are 12-23 with arguably the best pitcher in Major League Baseball. The Marlins, we know the deal there. The Angels, we know the deal there, both with 13 wins. Baseball's got to do something. And I think it starts with the way their finances are broken down. Because the bottom line is, without an opportunity truly for a lot of teams to win, no sport is entertaining or engaging. No fan wants top dominance. Fans love upsets. They love Cinderellas. They want that. So you have to change your sport from a financial gain standpoint or lack of financial gain standpoint, depending on what franchise you are, so that we can even this playing field, okay? Because the Mets and the Yankees and the Phillies and the Dodgers having so much more money than everybody else has now created well, what are the Rockies going to do? Who the hell wants to sign there outside of players that probably aren't good enough to win you 50 games in Major League Baseball? I mean, think about how bad that is. They've won 6 games in 34. Baseball's got a problem. The White Sox have 10 wins. What are we doing? Nobody goes to Marlins games. The Oakland Athletics are playing in a minor league stadium. Baseball's in trouble. And it's time to stop worrying about the size of the base or the pace of the game, because that's not your answer. The answer is, what do we do here with how long this sport is in terms of the season? Because there are 7 to 10 teams in this league that are so atrociously bad, it's not even fun to watch them. And then on top of that, change your TV deal. We'll talk more about this tomorrow because I am so tired of wanting to watch the New York Metropolitans and I get blacked out. Stop. No wonder no one wants to watch your sport, because you make it insanely difficult for you to watch your sport. I hope it wasn't difficult to watch or listen to the Rome Show today here on 12 OZ Sports. Jump back in tomorrow with us at 7:10 a.m., depending on when we get going, as Rocky Romanella joins us for Hockey with Rocky, like he does every Tuesday. I'm Andrew Romanella. I will be back tomorrow. Until then, you have an electric Monday. Happy Sinkhole de Mayo, and peace.
Thank you for listening.